basically what SCORE is it's a collection of people that have already been very, very successful in their businesses, but typically they're required to be retired. They're no longer in business, so they're here not self-serving, they're only for you. And here's the way it works. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to learn about what we're talking about today, but you wanted something long-term, and you wanted to come in and say, hey, I need some help writing a business plan, let's say. Well, you can contact them and then come in and get counseling with people who can help you write a business plan. Now, the nice thing about it is there's no charge, and if it takes you, 3, 4, it doesn't matter how long it takes you, Celeste, because they'll make sure that they stay with you until your business plan or your project is to the point you're saying, okay, I'm good to go. And they're there to help you. It's funded by the Small Business Administration. It's to help businesses, whether small business or a large business, start a business, maintain a business, grow a business, or go out of business, how to get rid of it. So anything from patents to writing business plans, getting loans, you name it, they're here. And so they bring us in because of the fact that most of the people that are here are volunteering their times, and they're all volunteers. There's about 13,000, not here in the desert, but around the country. And they've been out of the business world for probably 5 to 7 years on average. Well, if we think back about 5 to 7 years ago, what we're going to talk about today really almost didn't even exist, or very few people actually even did it. And so their knowledge base is not what it needs to be for, I'd say, today's entrepreneur from that standpoint. What's that?
That's why you're here.
That's why we're here. So we're in it every day. So we own a company called SwingpointMedia, and we focus on video marketing. We take your business and we work with local businesses here in the area, and we create a video. We build it from the ground up, and we say, hey, what is your business, and what problems are you solving? What questions are people typing into the search button to find your business? And then we create a business video for that reason. Andrew, I'll let him explain exactly what his business is.
So Autopilot Your Business is my business. If it's no longer just a website needed these days, you want to get out there and you want to be the expert in your area. So you want to be having podcasts, you want to have magazines and TV shows and all that sort of thing. We do a lot of that. We've helped businesses all over the world get online and get found and become the expert in their area.
Sorry, what was the name of it?
Autopilotyourbusiness.com. Autopilotyourbusiness.com.
It's that West Texas accent.
I thought it was East Texas.
No, I know. I've been to East Texas, and I grew up in West Texas, so it's definitely West Texas.
Okay.
But I had to work to get rid of mine.
Urban Central.
That's it. So today, how many of you actually use a blog on a consistent basis? Okay, good. Tell me, Celeste, when you use a blog, tell me the things that you do when you write a blog. I mean, what are some key components you say, hey, when I write a blog, I want to make sure to do these things?
I make sure that I go to my the details, and also the the main focus on what I wanted to do. For example, like cooking healthy, it's my blood type, cooking healthy. I make sure I focus on that first, and then type out the details of what I wanted to say.
Okay, good.
I want to touch them emotionally so I can connect with them.
Okay.
I don't always do that.
Okay.
Because I think more about the technical part of what I'm writing rather than, really grabbing their attention.
Okay, cool. Anyone else? Well, before we get into the meat of it, because we're going to do 2 pieces this morning, and I worked on putting this together. I thought, you know what? I don't want to talk about this because these are just kind of basic things. But I thought, since it looks like most of us have not done much blogging, let's talk about why it's important. Because you can be inspired or pushed. And I'd rather inspire you to say, gosh, I didn't know that was available, and I want to start blogging. And there are several things, and I went to a company called HubSpot, if you're not familiar with it. They're great at collecting data and giving us feedback and saying, hey, why are people doing things like that? They're kind of analysts into the marketplace. So what I did is I went out there and they said, there are 5 reasons, if you will, that you should be blogging. One is, and Andrew talked about it last week or maybe a couple weeks ago, and this is to help the search engine optimization, or in other words, the big engines that are the search engines finding your information. So example, let's say for instance, Michael, you have a website, yes? Okay.
Yes.
Now, how often do you actually change a page on your website?
Not frequently.
Not frequently. So what happens is when the search engines go out there, they find your site, let's say the first time, they say, hey, this is a really cool site. And they now say, okay, we recognize it. But then they come back again in a certain period of time and nothing has changed. And they do this 3 or 4 times, and now you're not as relevant because you're not putting out fresh or unique content. It's just kind of a static, what we'll call a brochure page, okay? With a blog, what you can do now is, Robert, let's say you start putting out a blog on a consistent basis. What that means, it could be once a day, once a week, once a month, but do it consistently. And what you do is you start putting relevant content out there. Now when the search engines come out, they use these things called bots, or little robots, and they say, hey, you put some new stuff out there, what is it about? And then they kind of feed that information to the main searching parties. So now when Celeste looks something up and it connects, they're saying, hey, this is something that's fresh, it's unique and irrelevant, let's connect that to the search page. So it helps getting you ranked and found on search. So that's probably the first thing. Yes, ma'am.
So what if you don't have the capability of, for me, for example, I don't have the ability to make changes to my website unless I go through, or pay higher in order to be able to do that. If I have a Facebook page that's the name of my business, can I blog, can I post there? Does that, what I want to ask is, other than doing it on a website, how else can you blog?
Great. First of all, I'll say, yes, you will get some benefit from that. Is it the best benefit? No. Okay, you're communicating, good morning, come on in. You're only communicating on a social media level. So if they're not on Facebook, they're probably not going to find you. So as we talk about this, I'll show you exactly what we're talking about, how you take your post after you've created it and then share it with those social media sites. But what I'd recommend, I'd go to a free blog site, okay, like WordPress.com. And you can create a free website, free template, free website, the whole thing. And it's only for you, you designed it only to blog, okay? Only to blog. If you don't have a website that has blogging capabilities, I don't know about you, Andrew, but it's like almost in today's society, if you have a website that doesn't have blogging capabilities, it's like having a Maserati with 3 wheels and no engine. Seriously, it's really not functioning. You can't take it out of the driveway. It just looks good, but you've never driven it. Okay, so yes.
Yeah, I just want to add that Facebook, the whole Facebook idea. Not that I want to go down that path, but if you spend all your time and energy on Facebook on a platform you don't own, then they will control it. And if they ever decided to turn you off, get rid of you, delete you, you've lost everything you put effort into. And in fact, in January this year, a lot of businesses found this out the hard way. That Facebook got up one morning and they said, you know what, we're going to make you pay for your content. We're going to make you pay for people to see your content. And every business that was on Facebook and they spent all their time on Facebook suddenly lost their traffic because Facebook decided that was the case. It's like trying to build a house on rented land. Don't do it. Don't do it. So have a look at your situation and say, well, okay, if I don't own my website now, how much traffic is coming to it, and should I move it to a platform where I can own it 100%, or do I bite the bullet and pay for them to do that for me, which can be expensive. So I'd have a look at how much traffic are you getting to your site right now, and if there's not a lot, then say, all right, if I'm going to make an effort to blog, then maybe it's time to move all the files. You don't lose everything. You'll be able to save a lot of it and move it over to a platform that you do own, like the WordPress.
A quick question. I assume that, I know in my case, when I had our website built, I had them add a blog page to the website. Mm-hmm. So it's all connected. And I would expect that with most websites you can do that.
These days you can, yes.
Yeah.
It's a standard part of website. In fact, the word blog and website is almost the same thing these days. 10 years ago, a blog was a specific, like a log of thoughts that you had, and maybe you can connect it to your website. Now, if you don't have a blog on your website, you're basically living in the dark ages, really.
So with that thought of, okay, so you should be blogging because it helps the search engines find you. Now, there are other ways to have the search engines find you. First of all, they can type the name of your website in. So do you have a website, Michael? Mm-hmm. Okay, so everybody do me a favor. If you have a cell phone or anything, type Michael's website in for me.
Michael.
No. Type it in.
Oh.
How many of you know it?
Okay. I
So how
see.
many are you going to find,
I
Michael?
see.
Thought you were gonna give it to
Oh.
him.
Ah.
Okay? So how many are you going to find? And see, that's one of the problems. I don't know the name of your website. So to have this real catchy, cool name like Autopilot Your Business, if I don't know his website name and he doesn't use anything to attract me, he's like he's living on an island. And there's no boats running to his island. Either way, right? Okay? So that's one way. The other way is you can pay for traffic. Okay? I'm not saying you wouldn't recommend it because we talked about it last week. There are some benefits to it. But here, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was going through, having a hard time blogging too, because most of the times they ask you to pay.
Yeah.
They ask you, you know, from the front, they ask you to pay, even just to type up, you know, what you need to say, you have to pay, otherwise they block you.
Now, who is it? Who are you talking about?
I couldn't remember, it's just like, because it was, you know, when I'm trying to get to it, you know.
Oh, I see. So it's
You know.
paid content. There are people out there who write. So you're saying if you were out there searching and you saw, oh, I like this idea,
No.
and you go to it?
No, it's just like when you, for example, I wanted to like cook, you know, cupcakes or something, cook type, you know, start blogging, and main website blogging, you know, in order for you to have your stuff on there, they have you pay.
Oh, it's for you to put your content on their website.
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
it just, they keep doing
Right, right.
that,
I got you.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm having a hard time on blogging too.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's almost that rented land thing. And you can use us anytime you want to. It's like bringing your kids to the water park. You can come anytime you want to, but every time you come, you have to pay.
Right.
And then
yeah.
while you're here, have as much fun as you want.
Yeah, it's one of those.
We are saying, we'd rather you say, hey, you buy and own the land, because it's pretty cheap. In fact, as we said, it's free. So if you go to, you know, WordPress.com or Blogger.com, you know, those are free. But again, those are not as robust as if you would go to, let's say you buy another website domain, or let's say you just use your current domain name, okay? And then you open up a website, use one of their templates, because WordPress is free. WordPress.com is free. And if you already own the name of your blog, or excuse me, the name of your site, your domain, then just direct traffic to that, right? So you set up a typical, and I didn't want to get down this road, but you set up a typical website using their free templates and say, hey, this is what I'm going to use. So when I write a blog, it'll come to here, but it's still connected to my other site. And now you own it.
They would go to both sides?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can get them back there, okay? And that way you own it, you don't have to pay for it. So if you already own a domain, your startup costs are,
Well, if you're gonna go to the hosting, if you're gonna go to WordPress.com, it's nothing. You've already got that domain name, so you paid for it. So it's not going to cost you.
might cost you what? I think we're paying.
But
for our
I
clients.
still think though that going to WordPress.com or a blogger, you're still leaving that in their hands. They still own the property there. You've got a lot more control than you do Facebook, but they own the property. So I would recommend going to WordPress.org, just to be confusing. .org gives you the ability to actually have your own site, you own it, and you host it. You can get some cheap hosting for $10 a month. So for $10 a month, you own everything. You own the whole lot.
I have a suggestion.
So that's .org instead of .com?
.org, yeah.
Just one other piece for you. Now, just as an example, we just set up a client 2 weeks ago. And it's a .org site, very robust, has all those features and functions. They're paying $3.96 a month. And he posts, you know, he's a pastor here in the area, so every day he posts a blog. Every day. $3.96 a month. It's almost like he just opened his own newspaper, right? And he's putting out something every day. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if Larry is knowledgeable about this, but with GoDaddy, I've been with GoDaddy for years and years. So I went to WordPress, and I actually got confused and had some issues. And I happened to be talking to GoDaddy about another thing on advancing my website, and that came up. And they said, well, we could support you with WordPress.
Absolutely.
And I said, well, what do I have to pay? So it was $54 for 2 years
Oh,
in advance.
it's a bank breaker.
But, so for me, I have no clue. I'll learn. But if I need anything, the way I look at it is I can pick up the phone and call them 24 hours a day, and I have staff that I've hired for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a good,
Yeah, Larry, I mean, I know you've gone almost exclusively to GoDaddy to set up everything, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, the advantage too is with GoDaddy, if you have your website, it's, you want to, my feeling is that you want to have your domain name within that blog also. And, you know, GoDaddy, it's going to be blog dot, but that's the best way. And like Steve says, you know, GoDaddy's got 24/7 support, and all those guys there work on these things, so they always have little things to tell you about. So if you don't know what you're doing or you have a question, I mean, sometimes $3 a month would be worthwhile if you know what you're doing, but if you don't, a couple of extra bucks, I think a little bit more is worth it. But I think it's important, Andrew can attest to it too, is I think you need to have your domain name or your business name within your blog also.
Yeah.
And I found if you deviate out of, let's say, WordPress only or these others, you lose that right to be able to have your name in there. So.
Because they're branded. It's almost like on our site, mycitybusinessreview.com. If we create a video for somebody and we do it for free, we're branding it with our stuff because that's advertising.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, you can use it anytime you want, but you have to wear a t-shirt that has our name on it. And it still says something about your business, but at the end of the day, hey, how did you get on there? mycitybusinessreview.com. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think Andrew brought up a good point too. Is I mean, who's to say WordPress down the road isn't going to sit there and do what Facebook is doing now, and
Sure.
it's going to cost you to have what it's been free up until this point, or pretty darn close.
Again, it's just a rented piece of land. In other words, it's rent-free, but they're making money. I mean, at the end of the day, they're making money. They're selling ads, they're branding it with their stuff. So that's the way they work that. So anyway, for the first thing is, if you don't know the name of the website, it's really hard to type it in, isn't it, Nicole? Okay. Second is you can pay for traffic. Now, I'm going to warn you about that. You can buy an email list. Have any of you ever bought an email list? Yeah. It's illegal now. It's spamming. So don't even dare do that. Okay? Because if you notified that you're spam, they'll shut you down. Okay? I mean, we use what we call a whitelist, meaning, hey, it's cleared up. Everybody that's in our email database, they've all been double opted in. We said, hey, you said, yep, I'd like to get it from you. You get another email, said, are you sure? Yeah. So now if anything comes back, we say, hey, we have to have double opt-in right here. Everything we do is double opt-in. I'm sure you probably do the same thing. Yeah, it's pretty much standard practice for ethical businesses. Okay. The last way to get it is in paid traffic. We've all seen it on when we do a search at the top, usually there are some ads, or on the side there are some ads. You can pay for those locations. But here's the thing. As long as you stay in those locations, you have to pay for that. Now, it can be very expensive. Every month you have to pay them. It's almost like you have a dog. How often do you have to feed your dog? Daily, right? If not,
once every other day or
okay, but frequently, right? So if you stop paying for that location, it goes away. Now, I met somebody over the weekend, actually I knew them, but we started talking about something and it came back to how much he's paying. He's paying $2,500 a month.
What?
For paid search.
Yeah.
For paid search. And I said the same thing. What?
yeah, but
Seriously?
what's he getting from it?
He's not even getting on the first page.
Oh,
He's supposed to, there's someone within his group that said, oh yeah, they've been told they're on the first page. Well, I looked up a lot of stuff and never could find them on the first page until I actually put in the name of their website. But again, we know that's not really effective, is it? Because that's a hope and a prayer. So we want to find out, going to the next thing is, hey, when we're blogging, it starts creating, the second piece is it starts creating you as an authority in the marketplace. Okay, so now let's go back. Who else said they actually blog? You said you blog? So when you blog, tell me what things that you write about. But first, before you say it, tell me your business.
Home staging.
Home staging. So tell me about what things you write about. Now pay real close attention.
It varies. For instance, my desert home staging is about showcasing the best in desert living. So one of my blogs was about grapefruit and about everything, in the desert, and I had pictures of little tiny grapefruit, so it was something completely different than home staging because it was going to my tagline of showcasing the best in desert living.
Okay.
So I can blog about.
So you were sneaking up on them.
Well, it's making a connection, you know.
Keep an eye on her.
So, and then the standard, you know, the things that are important with staging, but also how it affects the local real estate business because our real estate business changes throughout the season.
Okay.
So, you know, it's staging, you know, how to get ready for the summer. If you have a house for sale and you're not going to get a lot of traffic, you need to make sure that your house looks good online
Okay.
to grab traffic.
All right. Same kind of idea there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You know, here's, and this is in the second half, but I'm going to give you a preview of it right now. When you're writing a blog, if you want to become an authority in the marketplace, when you think about somebody who's an authority in the marketplace, I'm going to go see an authority here after this about my wrist, okay? But if you're an authority in the marketplace, Nicole, what kind of things would establish you as an authority, just in general?
Recommendations.
Robert, recommendations? What do you think?
Followers.
Followers?
Knowledge,
Knowledge? Yeah, what kind of knowledge?
expertise, knowledge.
Okay,
Proof and evidence.
yeah. How about, has anybody ever hired a handyman? No? Geez, I guess I must be dominating that market. When I'm looking for a handyman, who can be a handyman? Anybody? Yeah. But what does a handyman do in general? What do they do?
Whatever you ask.
Okay?
Fix things.
They fix things.
Who said fix things? Fix things.
Both of us.
So, yeah, exactly. So there's fixing things. So to be an authority in your market, are you writing about how you fix things? Because if you just write about you should stage your home, you should eat properly, but you don't tell them how to fix that issue, are you becoming an authority or just another voice that's getting lost in all the noise that everybody's talking about? I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, look at me, to me, right? So let's go back to Michael. Michael helps people in what way?
Release stress.
Release stress. Now, let's think about what are the problems that are involved in stress. What kind of things happen because of stress, Larry?
A lot of things.
Give me one.
Health issues.
Health issues.
Become forgetful.
Forgetful.
Um,
What did you just say?
Getting things done.
Getting things done.
Insomnia.
Insomnia.
Job,
Depression. What's that?
job.
Job. It could lose your job, right? Anybody else? So there are relationships. So there are 5 or 6 pieces you could write about, couldn't you? That are solving a problem. Hey, are you having trouble sleeping at night? Is it affecting your job? I mean, you could tie them together. Is it messing up your relationship because you're always getting out on the wrong side of bed? And all of a sudden, then it ties it back in, here's a solution. And then you don't go right into, come see me and I'll charge you. And no, here are some things you can do, right? Right? Maybe it's before you go to bed. Maybe listen to a particular type of music. Maybe do some breathing. Maybe count sheep. I don't know. That's your expertise. But you offer a solution that would start showing you as an authority. Now again, we talked about how many, 8 or 10 different topics there and how long? That period of time. Because sometimes we say, well gosh, what do we write about? There's only so much I can tell them about the fact that I make videos, right? There's only so much stuff I can help them in their, what was it?
Releasing stress.
Releasing stress. That's pretty broad, right? It's almost like taking a paintbrush out instead of saying, hey, I'm going to spray the wall with one of those paint sprayers. I'm going to take a real tiny little brush and I'm just going to start fixing these little dots here, these little holes in the wall, if you will. And I'm going to show you how to do it and give you benefits. Okay, so that starts establishing you as an authority in the marketplace. Now here's the other thing. Let's go back to the first one. The more often you do that, all of a sudden now you're a handyman that knows how to fix more than just this one thing. Because if all you do is fix, let's say all you do is fix outdoor watering systems, are you a handyman? Or do you actually only specialize in one thing?
Specialized.
Yeah, so you're really not a handyman. So I wouldn't get a hold of you if all you did was that one thing. I might miss you in the search process. Does that make sense? Nicole, does that make sense? Okay. So it's starting to attract the right kind of people, the people that are looking for you. Now, I want to say something. How many of you recognize hype? Okay? We seem to be getting better and better at that. I saw something that I thought was really important. Hype attracts two types of clients. Anybody have an idea?
The worst.
Maybe not. It attracts people who are newbies and that are desperate. Do you want to attract those, Robert, or would you rather attract your ideal customer? Yeah. The ideal customer is looking for stress relief without the hype. They're looking to liquidate what they have with a lost loved one in their home without the stress. They want to know how to do that. You need to be that authority in offering a solution and a guidance. Just like coming here today. We're filling this with a lot of content, right? A lot of stuff you said, hey, when I walk out, I want to be able to use this. This makes sense. I'm going to take a different look at when I'm writing my blog, and me too. I'm going to say, hey, what's the benefit to my client? What am I fixing? What's in it for them? The other thing is when you write a blog, I want you to start using the word you a lot. Because if I talk about, when I did this and it's about me, very quickly we're going to lose the audience attention, wouldn't we? But if all of a sudden, hey, when you take this and you put this into play today, what you may start experiencing is more traffic on your website. You know what that turns into, Michael, is you begin to get a bigger database. At the end of the day, the database is the most important thing because without an audience, there are no sales made. You're talking to an empty room. Yes, sir.
Okay, as far as time length, I won't spend time if there's lots of text and and what about video blogs?
They're called vlogs, but they're blogs. I mean, we'll show you one here today. You can do it either way. It can be an audio blog, it can be a written blog, it can be a video blog, it can be a combination of those things.
So the research should show exactly how long your blog should be for best.
It depends. And I'll say this for one reason. If you're trying to attract someone, which I'll call interruption marketing. Let's say, for instance, I come in and you're working, you're in the office, I come in and all of a sudden I interrupt what you're doing versus you were looking for a solution, which one would have better attention span, Michael? Exactly. So if I'm using it to interrupt someone and trying to build a database by interrupting someone, it better be short. But if she's out there looking for a solution, do you want something that's quick and maybe it doesn't have all the details you're looking for? Or do you say, hey, you know what, I want to know exactly why I should have this type of eating process because of my blood type, and what does that all mean? See, I would want that. It's almost like we're working with a client right now who their average client will invest $500 million. And they came in and said, well, we need to keep this video short. I said, are you kidding me? You're asking people to spend $500 million with you. Do you think they deserve a little more time? Wouldn't you think? Right? I mean, in 4 minutes, can you really do what you need to do to say, okay, now just stroke a check for $500 million? Or maybe it should be a little longer. So keep in mind, are you attracting people or are you using interruption, what I call interruption marketing? Okay? We're talking about attracting people who are looking for solutions on the internet. Okay, is it getting a little warm in here?
Yeah.
All right, so the other thing is we want to convert these people. Okay, we want to convert them to now they're watching or they're reading our product and we want to convert them. How do you think we'd convert them? Tell me your name again.
My name's Antoinette.
Antoinette, how would you convert someone from, hey, I'm just kicking tires, to now, let's talk about what converting means. It converts them from someone that just arrived on your website, possibly for the very first time in your blog, and now you want to be able to communicate with them long term. What would you do?
Provide them with the benefits of what they're looking for.
Okay.
Well, actually find out what they're looking for first, I guess, and then provide some solutions.
Okay.
I was going to say the same things.
Okay.
What about asking them to sign up for the blog and get the ongoing
Could do
message?
that. Yes, ma'am.
Call to action,
Yeah.
engagement.
Call to action, right? A call to action can be a lot of things. It's saying, hey, now that you've done this, what we'd like you to do. We spend a little time with you, so we've earned the right, in sales. We say, hey, we want to build value and spend some time with building rapport, so we have the right to ask you to buy our product, right? So the idea is, I may not even ask you to buy my product. I might say, hey, for more information on this, because we've only touched on one of many, many things involved in stress. If you'd like to know more about this, click here, and it takes them to a little sign up that now they become part of your database. Very easy to do, okay? Andy was talking about something, I'm going to give him just a second here, talking about something called a tripwire, okay? Can you talk about that just briefly? I don't want to get too
Essentially a
complicated.
tripwire is something that you sell to your clients. Now, it can be something that's as low as $5, $6, but as soon as somebody makes a transaction, the first time they spend money, then they are more likely to buy something from you at a higher price if they've spent at least a couple of dollars with you. So it's one thing to get people into your email database, but as soon as you sold something to them, they become a customer and they're more likely to buy from you once they've done that.
Yeah. So there are all kinds of things that are call to actions. Like for us, in a lot of our follow-up is, come to the Sunrise Business Mastermind, or watch us on Wednesdays for seasonal slump busters that we stream live as well. So those are calls to action to build our viewers, to build our attendance here. Okay. The other thing is, when you write a blog, Robert, unlike paid, it stays there for a long time. As an example, if you write something about stress today and it's relevant today because it's sound, 6 months from now, is it old or is it still relevant?
Yeah.
Still relevant, right? And so you might be in Hawaii as an example, and somebody is still looking for an answer, and you're providing that answer, and they're reading it. So it's almost like hiring salespeople who never go to sleep, who are always selling and always providing value, and then asking for a little follow-up at the end so you can keep in touch with them. So it has long-term staying power. Unlike when you pay for it, it goes off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? So keep that in mind. If you're blogging, blog for long term. Now there are times when we'll blog and it'll be something that's right now today, but we know that. And that's fresh, unique, and relevant, but it's not long term. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay? So what I'd like to do is I want to get into a little bit of the blogging. If you'll pull this up, this is something I wrote yesterday. And this is just a blog on our site, okay? SwingpointMedia.tv. So we thought, ironically, blogging for your business. It's no longer an option. And then what I did is I want to look at this and kind of some of the tactical reasons I did this, okay? Blogging for your business, it's no longer an option. So as an example, if you're thinking about doing, Antoinette, you're thinking about blogging, is it an option anymore?
No.
It says right there, hey, I'm thinking I should be blogging. It's no longer an option. Then what I did is, so I can hopefully keep the people engaged, 5 simple steps to successful blogging. How many people can do 5 simple steps? Nobody in this room? You need more coffee? Right, you can do that, right? 5 simple steps. It's not 5 complicated, very difficult steps for intricate blogging. So keep it simple, something that they can do, a little hill. And then I talked about this. It says, would you like more people to find you when they search online? Anybody? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would. Okay. Do you ever wonder what it takes to get noticed? Yeah, right? Okay. So I basically put out there, I'll call it a hook. It's saying, hey, this probably appeals to about 90% of the people who find this, wouldn't it? I mean, it's almost like saying, is anybody here interested in making more money? Yeah. Those that can't raise your arm, or you just got a bad arm? I mean, everyone, or who would like to have more freedom? Right? It's a general thing, right? So you put something up there. Then what I did is I said, here's a problem. Do you know when it comes to making buying decisions, over 80% of us will usually make our decisions before we actually walk in your store or business by first searching online. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. So if I can't find you online and I find somebody else, what's your chance of me coming to you, Celeste? It's a goose egg, okay? It's really low because I don't even know you're existing, right? Greatly accelerating the actual purchasing process. So as an example, let's say, Nicole, I come to your website because of a solution you offered, and I say, hey, she seems to know what she's talking about. I'm going to go around here a little bit more, and I find out, and all of a sudden I'm saying, hey, she's the gal. Now I walk in, and I'm walking in with a mindset of, I don't want to know more. I already kind of know about you because I saw your writing. I feel what you're like in your post. I'm coming in to take action. Wouldn't you rather have that than somebody says, well, I just come in to kick the tires a little bit. And they come in 2 or 3 times because they're trying to get to know you. They're building rapport. This does that for you, okay? So if you had to do one thing and not really devote any financial resources toward it, what do you think you would get the most bang for your buck? Or I should time. Statistically, it's still writing blogs and posting them on your website. So if you do so if you forget about everything else, even though we do video, creating blogs are the most important. Now at this point, has this kind of somewhat, and please, I'm very fragile, so make sure you, does this grab your attention? Would it make you want to read on a little bit? How much should I say about me?
Nothing.
None. How many benefits are there for you?
5.
All of them, right? It's all about you. But I've also created a problem. Hey, you want more traffic? Do you ever wonder what it takes to get on, get found? Then I gave some evidence. Hey, this is what it is. And then we just go to the rules. So, write for your audience. Yours is home staging. Who's your audience?
Home sellers.
Home sellers. So talk to home sellers. What's the value of that? First of all, knowing real estate, and Andrew as well, when people come out to a house, they don't have an imagination. Yes or no?
Correct.
So if they walk in a house and it's not perfect, they can't even imagine it perfect. Now there are some people walk out and say, I can see what I can do in the kitchen and whatnot, but that's a rare bird, isn't it?
Yes.
So if you don't have home staging, we're bringing people to your door and they're saying, nah, that's not for me. Because you didn't make the bed, or you didn't have the setup, you didn't have all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's a problem that could be solved. You could write that about in your business. So you're talking to your audience, okay? If you're talking to your audience, it's about stress, right? And what would a good night's sleep feel like to you? I know it might have been years since you've actually had a good night's sleep. But let's explain how to get that good night's sleep. And then walk them through the stages. And imagine being there. And you write it almost in a hypnotic tone. Right? Because you can write in a hypnotic tone, can you not?
I can.
You should.
I better.
Yeah.
I better.
You better.
Right.
Okay? So the next one is, does that make sense? Writing for your audience.
Yes.
Now one thing I want to talk about is that take away the jargon, the technical stuff. Like, if you start talking to people about neuro-linguistic programming, they're like, that already sounds too complicated. You know what? While they're reading down, their mind is still thinking, what is neuro-linguistic programming?
Yeah, exactly.
What is anchoring, right? So if you're going to talk about that, make sure you explain it. Like anchoring is an example. Imagine someone that has been a dear friend has passed away, okay? And forgive me if this happened with anyone here recently, but let's say you go to the funeral, everybody comes by and pats you on the shoulder. I'm so sorry for your loss, so sorry for your loss. And every time you do it, you're in an emotional state, are you not? Because you said before, you're triggering an emotion. Right. So you're in an emotional state. Now 6 months later, somebody comes by and taps me on the shoulder, and I almost start crying. That's anchoring, right? You're anchoring. I said a couple of weeks ago, you want to make sure to place that anchor in such a way that it makes them lose sleep at night, if they're not doing it. Imagine you no longer saying, or you're saying, I don't need the log. But you realize 80% of your business is going to somebody else, or 80% of the opportunity of business is going to somebody else. Would that keep you up at night, Nicole? Man, if it doesn't, I need to know what you're taking. Okay? All right? So, the next one is state the problem facing your audience. We've kind of talked about that. What is that problem? You having trouble selling your house? Could it be something as simple as, and then you go into, here's a solution, right? Do you realize that, and find a statistic, it's on the internet, what percentage of people walk in a home that don't have the imagination to see how it could be, they need to see how it is. 92% of the people who walk in a home, they don't have that creative imagination, so you have to do it for them. This is what it also does, and here's the neat benefits. Not only does it make them easy, and they say, hey, this is exactly what I was looking for, the kitchen, the bathrooms, right? But also, it adds value. How would you like to make more, and I'm just making this up. When you do a home staging, it adds at least $10,000 to the price of the home.
8 to 10%.
There you go, 8 to 10%. So if you have a $200,000 home, there you go. 20 grand, geez, I was cutting it short. What would you do with that extra 20 grand? Now here's the anchoring part. Imagine taking that extra 20 grand that you didn't know you were going to get, just because you spent $1,500 for home staging. Imagine the trip you would go on to Italy. Have you ever been to Italy? And you have the money now, you're staying on agriturismo, and when you open your door, you're looking out over the vineyards, and you can smell it. You can smell the fresh prosciutto. Is that anchoring or not?
Yeah.
And now, for more information, here's how you get a hold of me, right?
Now do it on the loss anchor. How much, what will it hurt? What will it cost you if you don't do it? Then,
You know, now if you don't do this, imagine the person down the street who uses me going on that same trip. And now all you have to do is you have to watch their photos. You have to go to their house and watch their slideshow.
what's loss
You know
of
how
20?
painful it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be something simple as that, okay? So, state the problem and face your audience. Rule 3, you can stop the pain. Because imagine if you state the obvious, hey, you know what? Here's what's going to happen. If you don't eat properly, you're going to die, you're going to die 7 to 10 years before you're supposed to. And I just leave you with that. Man, I'm hanging out there. Help me. I need some help.
Yeah.
The boat is leaving. I've got no floaties or anything. I might drown. So if you're going to state a problem, you're going to build up that issue. Make sure, you can stop the pain. So as an example, Larry, you do, it's called in-hand marketing. You do mobile marketing. So what would be the pain?
The fact that somebody's going to look at your site, see that it's not mobile, and bounce to your competitor.
See, I don't.
Lose business.
Here's the thing. What does that mean to anybody? Your site's not mobile. It is. It's right here in my pocket. There's that jargon. It's not optimized. Have you ever, as an example, here's what you do. Have you ever, and I love when he did this because he did a presentation. Have you ever done mobile gymnastics? You know, you pull out your phone and you go to somebody's website and you've got to pinch and you're doing little finger exercises to make it fit your phone. Do you realize that most people, in fact 90% of the web traffic right now is right here, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So if you don't have a website that's optimized, they're probably going to click past you because they can't read your print. So when it fits on your phone, they can't even read it. How many times, Michael, if you go to a site and you can't even read it, are you going to follow through with it and pursue it? You're not going to. So that's what it's causing you to lose business. It's like having a ship that's a beautiful ship, but it's got a massive hole in the bottom, and it's taken on water. So see, you've kind of built a problem there. And I haven't used optimized, haven't used mobile. You know, I may not know that. See, talk to your audience. Your audience are the average small business owners. Okay? So keep it simple. All right? Does everyone make sense on that? The next one is, everybody loves happy endings, don't you? Don't you like to see when the hero wins? I watched a movie this weekend, and it's with Morgan Freeman. Man, I was crying, but it was such a great ending. He was, what was it, Belle Isle?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Man, I was crying like a little boy. I was a little boy. No, so I was crying because it was a happy ending. But there was a part there when he left that tore my heart out, and I was so happy when he came back. Were you? Yeah. So give him a happy ending. It's called the hero's journey. Because think about it. The hero, when you think about listening to a story or you read about it, they start out with a struggle, don't they? Mm-hmm. Then they go through the journey. Then they come out and they become a hero. You're doing the same thing when you're writing a blog. It's a simple template, gang. It's something that's been used for centuries. Why not use it when you write? Wouldn't it be easier to say, hey, I just got to fill in the blanks. Yep, here's the problem. Here's the solution. Here's how they did it. Winner. The winner exactly is your client. Okay? So, when it's possible, this is a great opportunity to provide a testimonial or a story about a client you might have helped using the solution you're getting. Here's an example. There was someone sitting in this seat. His name is Les Kaplan. Les Kaplan had a website that was, he put a lot of content on there, but he didn't put them as blogs, so he didn't get the benefit of what we're talking about. Andrew helped with that. He's been doing what he's been doing for now 35 years. He's probably one of the best in the industry because of his education level. But here's the bad part. Celeste, no one could find him. He was on the first page. In fact, we went through 8 pages just trying to find him, never could find him. And he was wondering, how come businesses, nobody knows he's there, right? And they don't know the name. How many of you know the name of his company besides Andrew and Amy and I? Or is it me? The 3 of us. Yeah, you don't. So how would you find him? If you're looking for an appraiser, what would you type in?
Appraiser.
There you go. Now when you type him in, what we did is we went and we said, hey, let's make a video for him. We did a process we have. And now in, I think, 22 different cities, if you look up appraiser and it knows where you are, he's going to be the first one on the page or on the first page. And he's one of the rare with a video. So now you're more inclined to go see Les Kaplan. I can't tell you when the horse gets there that they'll drink, but at least now they're at your trough. Before, you had no place in that. Does that make sense, Antoinette?
It certainly does.
Okay. So there's an example. Now, how hard was that to look at? Now you say, well, you know, if Les could do it, I could probably do this. You could give an example of somebody who was successful about going through the stress relief. Now what they do is they were sleeping 4 hours a night, stressed all day, their hair was gray, they were falling out. Now they're sleeping 7 hours a night, they're happy, their kids love them, they don't know, it's almost like a transformation. And this is a picture of her before and after. Oh my gosh. Picture says how many words? A lot. Okay? Everybody loves a happy ending. Now, call to action. That's where you put that in there. That's, hey, what do you want them to do next? See, by now you've built a little bit of a rapport. So if it were me, I'd say, hey, if you like what you heard and you'd like more detail, like the report I was reading off here of HubSpot, make sure to give Amy your email address and we'll drop that in there for you. Or, because we record this live, we also stream it if you'd like this, because of saying, hey, you know, what did he say at the beginning? You can get a recording of this. All you have to do is give us your email address. Now, how pushy was that? Seemed like that was easy to do, right? I didn't say, hey, before you leave now, you have to buy my $14.99 cassette tape. Geez, that's Dave. $14.99 DVD in the back, right? It's none of that. It was easy, wasn't it? So, questions about this. Was it really difficult? How many steps were there, Robert? Were they hard or easy?
Simple.
Weren't they easy? They were simple, right? Could you do that? Dean, you can do that. You already do it, don't you? Yeah. How often do you post?
I don't do it in the blog, I do it differently.
Oh, you do it differently.
Yeah. The type of clientele that I have, 50% of them don't have a smartphone or an email.
Wow.
And that's truck drivers.
Truck drivers.
They do have computers, but they're talkies.
Yeah.
They want to talk. Yeah. When I get on the phone with a truck driver who's really interested in my product, it's a lifetime air filter, they'll call up on the phone and they'll start talking, and within a minute they're ready to go.
Cool.
The only way that I can sell them is to keep them on the phone. And then they start talking about themselves, and I start talking about experiences. When I'm on the phone with them for 20 minutes, it's a sale.
So that's that guy in front of me who's kind of bobbing and weaving like this. He's on the phone. You do not have that phone going. But see, now you know your audience, right? Okay? I mean, your audience might be something that you do a podcast on. Because here's the thing. My wife and I, over this last weekend, we went to Big Bear. Man, was that great. 72 degrees. There was a little earthquake out there. But it was quick and easy, right? Yeah, it was quick and easy. But here's the thing. Going up there and coming back, what do we listen to? Podcasts. I love podcasts. Now, here's the thing. If that were a video, I don't care. I'm listening to it, right? And if they're good at what they're doing, I don't need to see them walking around. I can hear them. So that might be something that you create a program that you podcast. If you're already doing what you're doing, it's working great, fantastic. But for some of you, that's something you can do. It's predicted that 2014 is the year of the podcasting. Does everybody know what a podcast is?
Yes.
It's like you have your own radio show. And now what happens is I tune in to listen to you. I tune in to listen to you. And I don't have to listen about all this other stuff. I know exactly what you're going to talk about for the entire whatever period of time you're talking about. And now I am able to, I'm going to call it segment my learning. I don't have to listen to a lot of other news when all I want to do, how many of you wanted to watch the sports or the weather, but you got to put up with all the other stuff in advance? Now I can just get what I want. And I think more and more are going that way. You know, we are an on-demand society, are we not? How many of you have a DVR? Nobody?
Oh, yeah.
Are you just tough on the arms today? Just give me a nod, yeah. You have the mirror, I want to check and make sure they're all okay. So the idea here is create a blog. If you're not, write. What kind of writing are we going to do?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking on podcast. What
That's okay. What kind of writing are we going to do?
Something that's relevant to my business that's going to attract the
What's
clientele.
what's going to attract our clients if we write about what?
You.
Yes,
Yeah.
about me. And remember what we said, scroll back down,
The problem.
right here. State the problem facing your audience. Like what problem is your audience facing, Larry? Your ideal target, what's the audience facing?
The ability to see what you sell.
There you go. Offer solution. First of all, build
I did
that
good this
problem.
time, see?
You did good. I gave you a second chance. Okay? Robert, how about yours? What is your ideal problem, or what is your ideal?
Finding convenient, healthy food that's convenient without.
What about GNC? What about right up here? Fresh, unique. What about what is it? There's a Cliff Bar right up the street,
Sprouts.
right? Sprouts. So figure out what it is. What is it? Maybe it's the fact that how would you like to make sure when you're putting stuff in your body, you know every ingredient and you can read it, you can write it, it's simple, it's stuff you use every day. That's the type of ingredients you're going to have in this that makes it extremely healthy. Does that make sense? And instead of saying, what is color 7? What's the benefit of that? I can't even read it. Let me have 2. No, but all of a sudden you're saying, have you ever been faced with this? You buy something you think is supposed to be good for you, and you can't even read the first 3 ingredients. Here's what those ingredients are and what they do for you, or what they don't do for you. Maybe they're just fillers. You're putting stuff in your body, just fillers. That could be a problem. Maybe you're getting a reaction. Maybe you could talk about, because aren't your, what's that free thing, gluten-free? Aren't yours gluten-free? Yeah, couldn't you talk about gluten-free? Like, what is that? I don't know what gluten-free is. I want some, it's free. Okay? Talk about that. Nicole, how about yours? What's the problem your ideal audience is facing?
Doing hair.
Doing hair. But seriously, beyond that, that's
Did
just,
you say thinning hair?
I said thinning.
oh, thinning hair. Thinning hair. I usually use a weed eater. Thinning hair. What are the problems of thinning hair?
Stress.
Stress. Oh, you and Michael could do a co-write. Right? You could share that information. Would that help expose you to a different audience?
Stress, malnutrition, a whole bunch of factors.
Yeah.
All 3 of them.
There you go. My goodness. And if you staged your house properly.
Or film it at
Yeah,
the
we're
stage
right.
house. I can just ride the furniture.
There you go. So, do you think this will help a little bit?
Yes.
It's not difficult, is it? This is a simple template that you'll need. You'll want to make sure to take action now, right, Michael? To now take action and give Amy your email address and say, please send me this. Or you can simply go to our website, swingpointmedia.tv. It'll be live today. I didn't want to go live until after we're done with this. Make sure everybody showed up.
It's actually live now.
Oh, it is live now.
Yeah.
Andrew, oh.
No,
But it's okay, they're
no,
here.
you actually did do it live, you didn't realise.
Well, I scheduled it out.
Oh, did you?
I put 12 hours in advance.
Why?
I was drinking, I don't know. Water. Okay,
Too many
hydrate.
That way you
So-
can bleep.
What's that?
You can bleep if you have to.
That's right. Now let's go down to the very bottom. I just want to show you what we talk about with the call to action. So, there are so many great reasons blogging is beneficial for one's business. Too many to share here in this brief article, right? Oh, there's more? And I like this article, though. I want to find out more? Sure, there's more. But if you'd like to learn more about, or more along with other ways to get on the first page of search, anybody not want to get on the first page of search? Because if you're not, only 8% will go to page 2. You might as well go to page 200, okay? Just add your name and email address to my newsletter for frequent updates. Please leave, and then I said, hey, let's ask for another one. Please leave a comment below letting me know what one article you intend to write that solves your ideal customer's problem. How cool is that? Okay? Now, I want to share one little thing real quick because I have 3 minutes, and this will only take 2. Any questions while I'm finding this?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we go on here and go through it again when we get home?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Again and again. Share it.
Yeah,
Share it,
yeah.
absolutely. Now, why do I ask for comments? Why do I ask for
Because
comments?
you're gonna get their email address,
Yeah.
number one, they gotta sign in
To
and
get
leave a
connected.
comment.
That's good, but there's a better reason. What is it?
To get connected.
Engagement.
Connected, engagement.
It's engagement.
Listen to this, and then give me an answer. This guy named Rick Roberts, I liked his name. Okay, he says, Corey, that's who wrote this article I'm reading. When I started my blog, I was one of 1 million or so, and I was part of a much smaller group of sales consultants that had no voice on, or had a voice online. Now there are 1 billion blogs, not quite that many, but I think, but you get the point. And everybody is a freaking expert. So there's a lot more noise. I suggest a cool aspect of having a blog is that I can help my readers solve life situations. And when I do, they typically share the articles, look at the benefits here, with other friends that have the same issue. Now listen to this. When they do share the article, they often add something like, "This is my guy," or "You should read this article and connect with Rick. Great, great referrals." Wow, that's what he said in this. Wouldn't you want that on your comments at the below? So make sure you write that. I'm the guy. I'll be looking for you. Yes, ma'am.
How much,
Did you pay him?
I didn't pay him anything. This isn't my article. I'm
how
gonna get a
much
hold of Rick.
do the bots pay attention to the comments to get more traffic?
I think it's, that's a good question, but I'd say it's almost as relevant as your blog, because it becomes part of your blog. Probably more so than that is when I'm reading something, let's call it a review. They're reviewing whatever you wrote, correct? The most searched thing online is our reviews. That's why our company is called My City Business Reviews. All of our videos are called business video reviews because that's what you're looking for. So it connects us. So these are basically mini reviews of that site. It's like you have your own Yelp on your site. Now here's the coolest part. If you don't like that, you know what? I can just cut it off. I wouldn't do that because we want a fair and balanced report. But there are none of these on here. And here's what happened. Further down, somebody made a negative comment because they were selling something, and somebody commented back and said, "Hey, that's just pure selling." They defended me. Or in this article, Corey. Does that answer your question? Okay.
And just on that, with the bots, they may look at the content of the comments, but they don't count the comments. Like if you've got no comments on your blog, it doesn't detract and say, "Hey, this is not good." So if you have a post that doesn't have comments, don't think that it's not going to get found because no one's commented on it. So, and there's a move for a few places I've seen actually getting rid of their comments on their blogs because they're like, well, we don't want people, we've got so many places for interaction, we can't keep up with where everyone's doing. So we say, if you want to talk about this, go to it, and they may say, go to my Facebook page. So they're getting engagement on their Facebook page or something else. So there's a movement out there to say, for people to say, let's get rid of the blog comments. Because a lot of it can be
Can't you
spam.
edit blog comments?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can delete them and take them off.
I do that a lot. I pull out the word so it sounds positive. Everybody loves it.
Well, you're always,
You can.
But,
out of 100 comments, there's always going to be the worst ones.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
yeah, just have a big believer in negative comments because it's the easiest ones to show your strength and what your product is.
Well,
One of the Facebooks that I manage, it's a food business and he gets negatives all the time. But when you respond back,
What's the name of this company? All the time.
actually, no, it's,
I'm just kidding.
but yeah, you don't see those. No, but I mean, he's a big, they're 5-star on Yelp. But somebody leaves a negative comment because they weren't happy with the product. It's nice to be able to respond, and I think that shows support of the ownership, caring about what that person has to say. And the best part is that a lot of people, a negative response also could be the fact is I think you went to the wrong restaurant because that was a mess.
Yeah. How about this? Let's say, for instance, I go by Nicole and now don't respond. Hey, Nicole, how you doing? How you doing, Nicole? Can I build a one-way relationship? No. So comments allow you to communicate back. So if all of a sudden you put that on there and you get a comment, I try very, very hard when somebody comments on something to give them a thank you or I appreciate that, because now there's an interaction. there's a relationship building component, I think, to comments. Yes, sir.
Doesn't it also help to have a guest speaker or a link to another resource that's an expert? Or
You bet.
and it also helps with Google placing you.
Yeah. So like as an example, I went back up here and I grabbed some of my statistics that I got on there. I could put on there found at HubSpot.com. And boy, there would be some kind of a connection there. And I could do those kind of things. That's a little bit more, I'm going to say a little bit more complicated than what we're trying to do this morning, just real simple. Hey, let's write blogs. How do we get started? But those are excellent, excellent tools. So, any questions? First of all, thank you all for coming. I hope you got something out of this. If not, it's Amy's fault because she was running the camera. And, before you leave, I think you have a sheet on the table. If you take just a second and fill that out, it's a little feedback about what's going on. And then also, do me a favor at the very bottom, if you'll write down, we have a little more of those?
I'll get some.
Okay, at the very bottom, write down a topic that you might want to hear. Okay, because we're not experts at everything. As an example, it might be time now that Larry are you in town for a while, Larry?
Yep.
Okay, it might be time to have Larry come back in because Larry is an expert at mobile marketing. He creates mobile websites and he makes it so that now you don't have to do the gymnastics on there and you can read what's going on, okay? And we think that's a lot like what you just said. Hey, can't we refer to an expert in our field? Absolutely. Because we're good at a lot of things. Andrew's great at everything. I'm good at a few things. And that will help you get better. Okay? Amy?
It'd be cool. I mean, Jeff did a fabulous job. If you guys want to do a testimonial, I'll capture it on my iPad.
In fact, you can't leave until you give us a testimonial. If you don't want to tangle with Debbie out front. But we'll give her the okay to share. So if you would, we'd really appreciate it. If you like this, that will help us. That's like our comments. Yes, ma'am.
Will you give us the link back?
Sure, absolutely. You bet. We'll give you a link back. Okay. Andrew, any other thoughts?
No.
We do have one little thing while you're filling that out. On July 12th and 19th, those of you who are interested in using video, we are having a class, and it's the 12th and the 19th, and it's 4 hours each day. The way it works is we're going to dive very deep into using video. So if you're going to use a video blog example, we'll show you all the ins and outs. When you walk out, there's no reason why you shouldn't be using video in your marketing process without fear, or excuse me, with fear, okay? There really is no reason. So what we're doing in that period of time, we're talking about capturing, editing, uploading, and marketing. So when you leave there, because there will be things that we're actually going to shoot videos, edit it, upload it, and market it, that when you leave, you'll have a video on your website, on your whatever you want to do, wherever you want to use it, and it will be using this same kind of thing. Hey, what's the problem my clients face? And we'll put that together for you. That's on July 12th and July 19th, back-to-back Saturdays, and it's $295?
Yeah.
$295.
That's
Okay?
this week.
This weekend.
Do you use Mac or Windows?
Yes,
You use Mac?
either one, Mac or Windows. I'm a PC, Amy's a Mac, okay? There are some prerequisites. You need to have something that will capture video, okay? Even if it's the webcam on your computer, your laptop.
So we should have a camera.
Some kind of camera,
If
sure.
we're gonna get the GoPro, or we should just get it.
Yeah, or if you say, hey, you know what, I have a camera on my phone. I shot a video over the weekend when I was going up the ski lift at Snow Summit. Okay, I was screaming falling, but anyway, I made a little video on that. You'd never know it was with an iPhone. It's a great tool. So don't go out and spend a lot of money if you have a phone with a camera on it. We'll show you how to use that and make some great videos. Okay. Thank you all very, very much. Give yourselves a hand.